Shalom, and thank you so much for being with us. Whether you are here in our sanctuary or you are at home or someplace else watching, we thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening. My name is Barry Nicholsberg. I have the honor of being the cantorial soloist here at Temple Beth David. We are 20 miles east of downtown Atlanta, and we are a proud member of the Union of Reformed Judaism. We are today, I believe, is the 24th of, I'm pretty sure it's the 24th of February. Yep, got it here, which makes it Adar 3, the third day of Adar in the year 5783. With me on the bema tonight, it is such fun to have the band back, minus a couple still, but still, we can be the bema boys tonight. On my far left, Frank Monteleone, who's been with us forever on the guitar. This is Daniel Bordeaux on percussion. And Bobby Horowitz has returned after a far too long sabbatical, sir, but we are thrilled to have you back on the bema. In the back of the room tonight, this is going to get real interesting because Denise Whitlock, who is usually just doing the streaming, is doing everything tonight. So if you type something in and you want her to read it, well, her first responsibility is for streaming, and then she will get to that. So anyway, enough of that. I would like to get us into the mood for Shabbat. Where were you last Shabbat? I mean, where were you physically, and where were you spiritually? Were you rushed, or did you savor the coming of Shabbat? What's happened in the past 6 days? They go so quickly, I don't know, I can hardly take notice. What kind of person were you this week? Were you thoughtful? Were you superficial? Were you preoccupied? Were you appreciative? Did you laugh? Did you cry? Did you tell anyone how much you love him or her? Did you use your week well? And what does that even mean? What lessons will you take with you into the future? I will now speak in the first person, try and understand through your first person as well. As I enter Shabbat, I release the past week, its joys and its sorrows. I free myself from any misgivings or guilt. I am ready to look for new happiness and bring the best of me to new experiences during the week to come. With that, it is time. I would ask you, if you have the Mishkan Tafila, please turn to page 120, 121. We have several people here who tonight have decided they don't want to light the Shabbat candles, and so I get to do that, which I've never done here before. It's rather cool. Page 120. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikneh shel Shabbat. I would ask you now to turn to page 138 and sing with us, Lecha Dodi. For those of you who are not familiar with our custom and you are here, we do the first, fifth, and ninth verses. On the ninth verse, I will ask you all to stand up and face the door you came into the sanctuary, because that way we will welcome the Shabbat bride. Okay? And when that verse is over, for the final chorus, turn around again. We'll see you here. Okay? You ready? La 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 pene Shabbat. This is a lot of fun. Please be seated. Let's see. On page 144 is the Reader's Kaddish. And Bobby, I wonder if you would honor us by leading us in the Chatzi Kaddish tonight.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'yamad yivarach Yirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam u'almei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudashah b'richu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushpekata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'yimeru Amen.
Please turn to page 146 and rise for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai The next thing on our list here is a reading, which we'll get to in a moment. There is so much going on today and this weekend that I feel I'm going to interrupt the service briefly to talk about these things. Yesterday, had she lived, Debbie Friedman would have turned 72 years old. She has written at least half of the music we sing here. She's written half the music sung in every Reformed synagogue I know. It was such a tragic loss. She's been gone some time now, but her spirit lives on. Her legacy is in the music we sing. And I'm glad that we have the chance to do that. Remember, the greatest honor we can pay someone in Judaism is to remember that person. And the opposite is to forget that person. Also, this weekend, in case you weren't sure if anti-Semitism was really strong these days, this weekend, tomorrow is the National Day of Hate. Look it up, I'm not kidding. White supremacists have decided that they can crawl out of the little cave they've been lying in and march up and down the streets yelling at Jews. So brave, so courageous. really tired of them, if we did to them what they do to us. But that won't happen. Would you please turn to page 151? At the bottom of the page, starting with wisdom and wonder. Read along with me, please. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gave to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Would you please turn to page 152 and rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. 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 Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai. Please be seated. Please turn to page 154. I will chant the V'ahavta. And if you are unaware, the V'ahavta comes right from the Torah, and the trope that I will sing, this tune, is different from any other you will hear tonight, because it's the trope from the Torah. It has been sung this way for thousands of years. Our job is to make sure we pass it down to the next generation, who passes it to the next generation, and so forth. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol yadecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibat bam v'shiftecha b'veitzecha uv'leftecha v'derech uv'shoftecha uv'kumecha ukshatam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'tafot ben einecha Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkaru ve'asitem ekel mitzvotai v'yatem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeichem mieretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Would you please turn to page 156 and read with me at the bottom of the page, starting with all this we hold. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude. They accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Please join us on page 158 as we sing, Mi Chamocha. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la la. As you turn to page 160, we make ourselves ready for a beautiful lullaby. Every week I tell you, it's my favorite lullaby. It is. I would ask you now to turn to page 164 and rise physically and or spiritually for the tefillah. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-Adonai. 164. Atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Elohei Zilpah Elohei Bilhah Elohei Tamar Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'meigula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'yava, Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Hakal Atarav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umkayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elot, Melech Memit, Umchayeh, Umatzmiya Mitshua, V'ne'eman Atalecha Yod HaAkol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Page 170. Atah Kadosh, V'shimcha Kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom Yehalelucha, Selah. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Welcome to turn to page 181. We reach for you, our God, from the quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Let's stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, let us listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness in the sanctuary which the soul cherishes. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence. And with this strength, we will turn again to your service. Please join me in praying silently.
It's haba'im hi l'machazikim bach
All right, we haven't sung that. I didn't sing it when you weren't here. So it's been months, and it was like riding a bicycle. It just felt so good to get back on that bike. I'm thrilled you're back. And I'm glad your hands are good. Very important. Would you please turn to page 371? May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah, and Tamar, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and for their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. If you have names that you would like to add to this week's Misha Berach list, those who we are remembering and praying for their strength, I would ask that you, if you're at home, type them into the chat. Now Denise only has to do 3 things simultaneously instead of just 2 when she. Anyway, Denise, if you're able, please read whatever names you can.
Okay, Linda and Stephen Ely, Rebecca Goodman, Robert Whitlock, Tully Vittner, Mila Binstock, Kevin Mendez, Tanya Hurst, Susan Duncan, Diana Berger, Jerry Wells, Lisa Miller, Bonnie Miller, Phil Geyer, Johnny Shaw, President Jimmy Carter.
Thank you. James, do you have any names you'd like to add to this week's Misha Berach list? Thank you. Thank you, Maya. I appreciate that. I will sum up what she said here in just a moment. Anyone else do you have names you'd like to add to the Misha Berach list tonight? Okay. Frank. Thank you.
Susie Horowitz, Keith Hood, Ken Burdett, Angela Burdett, Jeannie Nicholsburg.
Yes.
Go ahead, Denise.
Linda Jarrett, Tom Dieck, Powell Hassel.
Thank you. Well, if I want to stay married, the first name on my list tonight's got to be Jeannie Nicholsburg. I also pray for the health of Andrew St. Clair, Leslie Karsten, Frank Monteleone, Heather Murray, Wendy Fine, Ron Lindholm, Kay Omer, Hannah Litzo. I join the others as they pray for the welfare of President Jimmy Carter, who at 98 has decided that he will accept hospice care, and the world will lose a great leader. I also mimic Maya's comments to pray for all citizens of Ukraine and their loved ones. Today marks the 1 year, I hate the word anniversary here, that Russia invaded Ukraine, sure that it was simply going to walk in and take over, and that would be all. It would be all over in 2 days. And Ukrainian people have stood fast and said, no, you won't do this to us. You may be bigger, you may be stronger. I recall that part of the Torah that talks about how the children of Israel moved into the land of Canaan, and they were outnumbered, and they were the people there were gigantic. God was with them, and they won. I believe it's the only way Ukraine has lasted as long as it has. And I can only hope that those responsible for the atrocities in Ukraine will be held to account for them. I also pray for all those who have been affected by earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, and all of their loved ones. I'll add to the list Joanne Stein and Linda Ely. Any other names? Please join me singing on page 37. Sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Please. Thank you. All right, page 374, I think. 371, sorry. Misha Berach.
Misheberach Avotenu Mikor Habraha Leimotenu.
Let's go before help us find the courage in our lives
And let us say, Amen.
Tonight's Parsha is called Terumah, which means donation. Really, it does. God tells Moses that he needs to build a tabernacle. A mishkan is a tabernacle. And he tells Moses exactly what needs to be built, what wood, what fabric, the color of the fabrics, the precious metals, where everything goes. He laid it out as an ark. There was a table, there was a menorah, there was a sacrificial altar. All these things, even the walls, the curtains, were specified by God. Okay, fine. We got the order. Now what? I think that this was a way to inform the Israeli people of how special that tabernacle had to be. It was like no other, nothing. It was a way to honor God. All the materials used were precious metals. They were gold and silver, dyed fabrics, gilded wood. But here's the kicker. God told the Israelites to donate what they could from every person whose heart is so moved. How did this building come to exist? How did any synagogue come to exist? How did any church or mosque? How did any of it come to exist if it wasn't for the current generation stepping up and saying, yes, we will do this for our community? Nothing, and I mean nothing, makes me more angry than having someone say to my face, well, I can get anything I want at Temple Beth David. I don't have to give it any money. Makes me crazy. Really. If everyone felt that way, well, I guess we just wouldn't be here. God is not telling people to give a lot. He's not telling them to give a little. He's just telling them to give what their heart tells them to give. Nothing more and nothing less. It was an opportunity for everyone to be vested in the final Mishkan. You know, God never asked for a donation to be a hardship. He asked for the donation to make people feel good, to make them feel part of the ark, part of the community. There was room for everyone. No one was expected to contribute any more than people are expected to contribute here. But such an open-ended request is not without its risks. Some people with larger hearts actually might be too generous. Which leads me to the second part of this evening's Devar. The first part is, yes, donations are important. Yes, we are all able to do something, whatever it is. $5 a month is better than no dollars a month. problem comes when people give of themselves and give too much. Not out of their pocketbook. Or if they do, if they spend every last dime they have, how do they survive? That's not helping anyone. But I'm talking about those who participate in synagogue life as leaders. When I was president of this synagogue, I was told by the former president that you go in as a pencil and you come out as a nub. I didn't know what he meant, but it's true. It was wearing. The more we give, the more time we spend, the more vested we feel, and the more exhausted and burned out we become. I urge you to get involved with this synagogue at whatever level you like. There is no expectation. But I ask you this, for the leaders of this synagogue, please remember they are human beings just like you. And griping and finding fault and pointing fingers has no place in synagogue life. As difficult as it might be, it is better for ourselves and our health to pick and choose our obligations. Just as God invites the Israelites to do this in this Torah portion. We can set the floor and the ceiling of our own personal contributions. Therefore, we're encouraged to think about what we can take on. How much is enough? And how much we can commit. It's not just money. It's time. In this way, we can still volunteer with the wholeness of our hearts without sacrificing our own well-being in the process. Shabbat Shalom. If you would please turn to page 586, James, would you join me please on the bima? And we will open the parochet, the curtain. Just slide it back. Perfect. Yep. 5:88. For you spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God, and there is none else. In truth, you are our sovereign without compare, as is written in your Torah. Know then this day and take it to heart, that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is none else. Page 591. Please be seated, James. Thank you. Yasher Koach. There is one prayer that is chanted at the graveside and hardly any other time. But I started chanting this song more than 3 years ago as the COVID epidemic began to take hold. And I sang it every Friday night. And as I thought, well, COVID seems to be not dominating our lives as much as anymore. Here come the Russians. You know, if you ask Vladimir Putin, why are you invading Ukraine? One of his answers was, because those people actually speak Russian. Well, if that was his criteria, he should have invaded Brooklyn. But today is the one-year anniversary. Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have perished. Millions of Ukrainians have fled their homes. And tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have lost their lives for nothing. For ego. If we don't learn from history, we are forced to repeat it. And so I will chant El Malei Rachamim for all those who have lost their lives in the past year in that ridiculous war. I will also chant it for all those who lost their lives in Turkey and Syria over the past few weeks from the earthquakes. And I am particularly happy that Maya is here this evening, as she in fact does represent the Ukraine community here. And it's always good to be able to have a face instead of just an idea. El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim. Shochein Baromim. Hamsei Menucha Nechona. Tacha Kanfei Hashechina Im Kedoshim Hatiarim Kezoharakia Masi Tzitzrim Lanishmot Yakireino Shachol Le'amam Bal Harachamim Yasti Remsepter Kenafav Liolamim Yitzror HaChayim et Nishmatam Adonai Nachalatam V'yanu b'shalom HaMishkavam V'no more Amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we've drawn into our hearts with our own. Of them all, we say, Zichronam Livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. If we are in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days since someone has died, please type the name in the chat box or say the name here. Are we in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days? We do remember these people who have passed from this synagogue in the last 12 months. Barbara Babbitt, Eugene Schmuckler, John McPeak, Dennis Clausen, Ellie Freed, Curtis Young, Dave Bogart, Roland Jolin, and Mark Komasarov. We also remember these who died at this season in years past. Belle Rappaport, Eli Cherkis, and Bertha Aspler Weissman. Are there any other names you would like to add? I would ask you all to rise as together we recite the Mourner's Kaddish as a community of one. And you will find that on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalmad divrach yirutei v'yamliuch malchutei v'chayachon v'yom yachon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv ha'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'alei almayach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei t'kudisha le'ela mimkol brechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma Uyaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes harmony on high bring peace to us and all Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Do we have announcements this evening? I would have to ask Denise that question.
Please continue to read your TBD emails for announcements and event details. We thank Officer David Call for keeping us safe tonight and every time he puts on his uniform.
Thank you.
Do you have birthdays?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I appreciate you reminding me. Imagine that, I forgot. Well, first, Barry and Janet Abbas are celebrating a wonderful anniversary. And I believe they're celebrating it in Spain as their daughter gets married. Then Michael Roth, Judy Epstein, Felice Friedman, Aaron Fuchs, Jackie Fletcher Horowitz, and Lillian Zell. Anybody else's birthdays, anniversaries, simchas of any kind you want to share? I will say one quick announcement. If you would like to join our Friday night Kaballat Shabbat band, if you sing, you play an instrument, what have you, you are more than welcome. And everyone up here is living proof, because I've asked everyone up here if they would, including Daniel, who just sort of wandered in and made the mistake of telling me he's a percussionist. It adds so much. I can't begin to tell you the depth that it adds. Thank you, thank you. With that, one last thing. I am now starting to put together the High Holy Day choir. I know the High Holy Days don't start until the middle of September. I get that. But I really would like to have the choir so that we're not just crunching at the end trying to get the rehearsals in. We could space it out a bit. If you would like to be a part of our High Holy Day choir this year, do not hold back. Let me know. With that, I would ask you to rise for the priestly blessing. Yivarechecha.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yivrecha.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
The Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May the Lord's face turn toward you and grant you peace.
V'yasem lecha shalom.
In closing, I again want to welcome Bobby back to the Bema. It's wonderful to have you with us again. And Denise, a million thanks for being everything at the board tonight, not just one of two or one of three. You handled it all beautifully. May you go from strength to strength. Shabbat Shalom.